Hi guys. So in last class, what we saw, we added Pojo classes. Okay. So this is what the Pojo classes we added. In this class, what we are going to do, we are going to write the util class. Okay. Inside that we'll write the generic get method, put method, post method, and delete method. So let's start with get method. Okay. So now I have this created and see get users with get users. So based on our user management, we need some get request. Okay, in that get request, we will be fetching the details of the user. So let me make it generic. Okay, get request. Okay, so inside get request, we are going to write two. One will be like get all users and get with parameters. So it is like just get request will be there. Inside that, whatever get URL you will pass, so it will work. Okay, it will return the response. And the second one is like parameter, so you need to pass parameter. I'll show you how you can pass the parameter. Okay, and the return type of that is response. Okay, let me go to our project. Let me create one more package. Okay, API dot automation dot RestUtils. Okay, utils, utils. Let's keep it the name as utils. Okay, inside this we can write RestUtils class. Okay, we'll create one RestUtils. Okay, RestUtils. The class we are going to create is RestUtils. Okay, now inside this RestUtils, let me add this. Okay, so let me create one public get. Okay, and what we when we are going to hit get URL, what we need URL, right? URL. Okay, just this URL user will give, and inside this we will write the things like this. Okay, so let me copy paste it from here. Okay, not like that. Let me copy it here and then I'll explain you. Okay, perfect. Let me import this. Okay, so here what we have done, we have written one method. Okay, inside, let me make it small because we are using this small variable. Okay, and return type we can, from time being we can make it big. Okay, so here see what we are doing. So rest assured dot given. Okay, then dot header, like earlier in starting when we were looking into get put post request, so we know these things, right. So rest assured dot given dot header. Inside header, suppose your suppose you got some API to test. Okay, so developers will tell you need to pass these headers in your request, then only this API will work, and it will give you the proper result. Okay, so those headers, it is required. Okay, based on like different API, but for us it is not required. So let me comment this. Okay, now let me comment this also. I'll show you like what is the use of this, why I have added this. Okay, so here like get one method we are creating, like get. Okay, in this get method we are just passing the URL, okay, as a string, and then we are hitting like get whatever URL pass, it will give the response. Okay, what we'll do, to instead of void, we'll make it response. Okay, we'll make it response and import the response, and we can return this response. Okay, okay, return. So what it will do, whatever result will come for this, it will return to this response. Okay, so let me check whether it is working or not. So let me create one dummy test. Okay, let me create one class here and write it like test get request. Okay, oh, this is simply I'm writing. Okay, don't worry, this is not the actual we are writing the test case, actual test cases. This is not at all actual test cases. Just I'll check whether whatever things we are creating, it is working or fine or not. And I need to tell you few other things also. Public void add get users. Okay. So I wrote one test method in that get users. Okay. So let me import the test engine one. Perfect. So in this, what we have done, we have created inside REST utils, we have one method like get. In that get, we need to pass the URL. Okay. So whatever your URL will pass, it will perform the get request. Okay. So let me create the instance of this. Okay. Public REST utils is equal to new REST utils. Okay. So now let me import this. Perfect. Now REST utils, whatever we have created here, the instance dot, see, we are getting this get method, right? Now we need to pass the URL. Okay. So to pass that URL string, we can pass like anything. URL will make it equal to, let me get URL from, see currently how many records we have, 1 and 2. Okay, and this is what the URL it is. Okay, it includes both base URL plus resource. Okay, so let me put it over here. Okay, and after hitting this REST utils, it will REST utils get URL. Okay, perfect. Now let me run this and check whether it is passing or not. Okay. See, it got passed. It means it is working fine. But how to make sure it is working fine or not? Whether we hit this URL, whether we got what URL we hit, what response came, nothing came, right? So what we can do here, we can get the return in response instance. Response equal to, and we can import this. See why I created this response, right? Because the return type, see this method, the return type of this method is response. So which response it is returning? Rest assured response. Okay, so go here, rest assured response, and just we can print it. Okay, response dot body dot add string. Perfect. Now let us see whether it is working or not. Yeah, perfect. See here you got the response also. Okay, see, so both the response you got, right? Let me show you what was the ID. See, first this is the second object with ID 12, and this is the first one with ID 1. Okay, so this is the two response you got, but this is like unstructured, not informated. Okay, so instead of printing like this, what we can do, to rest assured provides one method that is very nice. Just you have to write like this and response dot pretty print. Okay, pretty print, that's it. Let me run it and show you. So these things they'll ask you in interview, so this is very important. Okay, so different things I am showing you. See, now you got it, right? See how nice it is. It came, it is in formatted, right? Properly formatted. So first one is ID 1 and this ID 12. But here we can see like it is performing get request, but which URL it is hitting, what and all information, means it is not showing anything. Just it is whatever response we are getting, it is printing that response. Okay, to know all those details also, what we can do, this method is there. Okay, like in given we have something like dot log dot all. So it will, what it will do, it will perform like what and all API you are hitting with what parameter, what body, what are the headers and other details, everything it will log. Okay, so let me uncomment this also. Anyway, we don't require this, but still it is not impacting our test case. Okay, just to show you, what it prints, that's what I have enabled that. Okay, now let me go here and run it. See, log.all, right? Log.all we gave. Let me run it. See, perfectly well. See, now you can see it is like telling, like we have used get method, and what was the URI? This is what the URI it hit, and what are the parameters was none, 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 and headers it used headers. Okay, the first headers was this authorization, and the second header was what, this content type. Okay, this content type. So what and all information you will be using, right? Those information will be coming over here, and this is what the response is. Okay, the response it is coming from here. So this is two important, very important question. What is the use of this pretty print, and what is, like, how you will be printing all the information of which API it is hitting. Okay, so this is what the log.all is there. Now this is like whatever anybody, if anyone want to use this get request, just they can use this get request, and whatever URL, in our case we are providing this. Okay, in others requirement for other project it may be different. Okay, so whatever URL they will provide, it will go, it will hit that, and it will provide the response. Okay, so now this is very generic. Okay, whatever it is, just user need to provide this, it will perform all the operations. Okay, now this was like first method we hit. Like in this, what was the requirement? You don't have any header and all those things. Just what you have, just you have URL, and just you are hitting it, right? Given dot given dot log dot all and dot get. This is what the URL is hitting, and it is giving you the response. Now we have one other API. Okay, in that API we are passing parameter. Okay, query parameter like data we are passing as 5 or whatever you ID you will pass. Suppose if I am passing ID as 1. Okay, so if I'll pass ID as 1, the user is having ID 1, the response will come for that. Okay, so see, you can see like only one response came. Suppose if you want to fetch the user details of having ID 12, see, this 12 came, right? So like that. So this is also get URL, right? This is also get URL. So for this we'll make separate API, separate method. Okay, if anybody whose requirement is like they can pass like a query parameter or any parameter using like this key and value, so they can use those method. Okay, it's wherever which kind of request is there, based on that we will be having all the method inside this rest utils. Okay, so let me copy this and paste it here. Now we can make it like get uh, with param. Okay, just method we made it like get with param, and here we can provide like string key. Okay, and string, not a string, in our case it is int, id is int, right? Int id. Okay, so now these three information, if user is having these three information, then that user can use this API to get the information. See here, what in earlier API get users, just URL we were passing, we were getting the details of all the users. But so when our requirement is like we want to fetch it with a specific user ID, whatever ID will give, that user details we need to get. Okay, in that case you need to pass key and value like this. Okay, so I'll tell you here, after given dot param. Okay, param, inside parameter you just need to write key and value. Okay, see, now whatever key you will provide, it will hit that URL. Okay, let me show you so that for better understand. So what this method requires, URL plus key and ID. Okay, so now let's go here, and URL we already have this, and we can put right string key key. Let me check what was the key. As here you can see, key is the data and value is either 12 or 1. Okay, and the key is equal to data. Okay, and int value equal to 2. Okay, 1. We'll get first user details. Okay, now this is the method we should hit here, and is URL. Along with URL we need to provide the key and then value. Okay, perfectly fine. Okay, let me run this. Okay, but here let me check here. See this question mark indicate like you are passing some parameters over here. Okay, query parameter or path parameter. Okay, so this question mark before that question till this what is the URL, this is what the URL is. Okay, so that URL we need to pass it over here. Perfectly fine. Then we are passing data and value as 1 we are passing, right? Let me run it and all the details will come in response console outputs. So that will be like for better understanding, that will be clear. Yeah, see you can see here like this is the get method, it hit, and after that it is like this is what the URL it is hitting, and it is switching the data of 1. Okay, after hitting that URL we are just printing that response. Okay, so here see the ID is 1, name is little help by Kia, and other details are, see only 1 is coming, right? If I want to fetch the details of the user whose ID is 12. Okay, let me run this and show you. See now it is hitting this URL with data is equal to 12, and the result is also like name 1. This is the details of user. User is having ID as 12. See how nice it is. It is good, right? Now see the two things we saw. So one is without parameters and second is with parameters. Okay, but what happens, sometimes user will be having multiple key values. Okay, this is like one parameter we are passing, right? In some scenarios we used to have like ID will be this, name will be this, and phone number will be this. So some unique values will be there. To identify any user uniquely we can pass multiple parameters also. So it depends upon the requirement. Okay, so in that case what will happen, you need to add all parameters like this. Okay, again dot param. Okay, and then you need to pass key value pair, again dot param, you need to pass key value pair, like that it will be. Okay, so instead of doing like this, what we can do, we can pass here instead of like string key and value, what we can do, we can pass map only. Okay, so as we know map object stores key and value. Okay, so that's what suppose you have like suppose 3 4 key and value you need to pass, then how many parameters you will be adding, like it will become very long, right? And it will be very difficult to manage also. So rest assured has given one method dot query parameters. Okay, query parameters and type is map. See query parameters, it is there, right? And here it is asking for map object. Okay, so if instead of passing this, okay, if we can pass something like map object, okay, string comma int integer. Okay, string and integer. So what will happen, map. So instead of passing it like multiple times, we can directly pass this map object. Okay, let me show you how it works. Okay, so this is like deprecated. Let me check some other is there or anyway it will work, but still I'm thinking of something better. Dot query params. Okay, query params is also there. Yeah, this is not deprecated. Okay, map, this is the latest one, they would have done some changes. So this is what the method you can use. Okay, and map will pass. Okay, and let me import this map here. So now here it is throwing some error. Why it is throwing error? Because we are using this key and value, and we don't have any method like that in this RestUtil. We have only two method here. First one is get with URL, and the second method is like it will need URL and it will need map object. Okay, but we are not passing map object. That's what it is throwing error over here. So let me create one map object here. Okay, map string teaser map equal to new hash map with type string comma teaser. Okay, perfect. Let me import the necessary just. Okay, perfectly fine. Now we can add map dot put. Okay, string will be like key and value. Okay, so this is what the key is and this is what the value is. Perfectly fine, right? This is what the key is, this is what the value is. Suppose if you have multiple data. Okay, so let me, okay, we can do like this also. Suppose if you have some other values also required. Okay, map dot put like here, we are getting it by id, right? Name should be something like where it went. Name, as our method is integer, so it will accept integer only. Suppose pin. Okay, pin is like 1 2 3 4, something like that. Okay, so you can pass like this. Okay, if you have multiple, but in our case we have only one. Okay, and that is like key and value. The key is data and the value is 12. Okay, so let me run this by passing map object over here. So this is what the map object we have created and we have passed it over here. Let me see whether it is working or not. Okay, see it is passing. Okay, see it is fetching the required details. The user is having id as 12. It is coming fine, and you can see in the URL it is working as expected. Like earlier method also it was working like that, and this method, the map what we have created, this is also working like that. So this is what the beauty of this map. Okay, so if user is having one key value pair or n number of key value pair, they can directly pass one map object and it will work fine. So no need to do any changes over here. Okay, if user's requirement is to pass multiple key value pairs, and the one important thing, it should be in the form of this. Otherwise, if someone is having some requirement in that they are passing string. Okay, so in that case what will happen, one more method will get created, and here they'll write like string, so they can use that method. Get with param some string we can give. Okay, so this is what the generic way to make it. Now it is too generic, and we are getting the output also. Let me show you for user is having id 1. Okay, run and see. Yeah, see here, you can see like user hit with that id. Okay, so this is what the id user is having id as 1. The details are printing over here. Okay, perfectly fine. So these two are very important, guys. Okay, so they can ask you like how you can generalize it. Okay, this is first thing. Second is like what is the use of this log dot all. When suppose if you are using any api, eating any api, how you can print all the details, like what parameter, what and all details that api is using to print. So like that you can give that log dot all. Okay, and one more thing is like that pretty print. Okay, so in structured format, if you want to print directly, you can use this pretty print. This is the three thing, and it is very important. So that's it for this video, guys. I'll add some other URLs, other REST util classes in next videos. Thank you, guys. Thank you for now.